lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
From Richmond Raceway, just off I-95 in the Commonwealth of Virginia, the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series is about to go short track racing at the Action Track. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sim Racing Media. Here we are in the second and final week of the round of 12 in the 2022 playoffs for season 14, and we're getting ready to eliminate 4 drivers before heading to the Daytona road course next week. Who will come out the victor this week? Will we see a playoff driver advance and punch their ticket to the round of 8? Or will it be a short track wizard coming out of the woodwork? Who moves on and who gets eliminated? These questions and so much more will be answered tonight live from iRacing on YouTube.com. I'm Dave Regal alongside my favorite partner in crime, Mr. Tony Trapasso, here in the broadcast booth. And we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag on Sim Racing Media. And Tony, here we are in Elimination Week. We've been talking about it. And after last week, of course, I missed you, buddy. But now we get to see exactly who and what everybody here on track is made of. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And, you know, last week's race was absolutely a thriller from start to finish. I mean, you know, basically, in my opinion, at least even at auto clubs, sometimes you don't expect the finishes like we saw last week. But, you know, the extreme scoring Ricmotech Cup Series is nothing but excitement from flag to flag. And I mean, tonight we have 200 laps scheduled tonight for what appears to be about 16 drivers. So plenty of room to wiggle around here at Richmond. But I'm still guessing that Richmond is going to have its way with many of these guys. Without a doubt. And one thing that we do want to take a look at as we are in elimination mode tonight, we're going to take a look at those point standings as you were working on them pre-race to make sure that this graphic looked right and was accurate. Bryce Senesac sitting atop the pile here with GT Hawkins hot on his heels, DJ Weeks in third. John Sterling, Alan Hilton, Michael Thwaites, Jeremy Clifton, and Brandon Shirley, as we stand right now, would be in the round of 8. And right there below that cutoff line, Tony, David Elliott, Greg Carr, Clifton Cockrell, and Mike Rominger. Yeah,
Good luck, boys.
Yeah, that's pretty tight right there. I mean, especially the Thwaites Clifton, menagerie right there. It's going to get ugly. And speaking of getting ugly, things getting pretty out here on the racetrack. Tony, I do apologize, but it looked like your audio hadn't come through a little bit ago. It's fixed now, but it wasn't fixed. Of course, par for the course. We're starting off nice tonight.
Oh,
but
of course.
Take a look here at Rich Reimuller from Lynbrook, New York, in the number 92 Spaceballs, the Chevrolet. He goes purple here on that second lap and lays down a 22.12 and sits atop the pile right now. Alex Carr in the 26 from Fox Lake, Illinois. He comes across the start-finish line to finish his qualifying effort and goes top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's what you kind of expect to see here tonight, especially with as close as it is right now. Top 7 separated by less than a second. Top 3 separated by less than a tenth. And we still have some heavy hitters still have to lay down times.
Absolutely. Speaking of heavy hitters, Michael Thwaites in the number 12 Space Force Chevrolet. Space Force not to be confused with Spaceballs. Of course, currently held with Rich Reimuller here in the 92. But Michael Thwaites hauls it off into turn 3 and 4. And he's already got some heat in these tires tonight, Tony.
I'm surprised he was able to get the heat into those tires as quickly as he was, but he's on one right now. That car is hustling. And
first lap he goes 8th fastest.
But he is on a better pass this time. I don't think he's going to go quick time, but he's definitely going to improve on lap 1.
As he rolls across the start. P7.
Did you just see the time Reimuller did on his second lap?
22.12. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fast.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
That's probably not even the first time he's heard that today. That's impressive. Jeremy Clifton here in the number 1 Chevrolet. That Glory Pole. I'll tell you what, I really like the Maestro's Glory Pole paint schemes that these guys have, especially Jeremy Clifton. Makes me feel like every time he drives past, it's like the American flag. I'm supposed to stand and salute when he goes past. It just is a great paint scheme, Tony.
Yeah, I know, right? That team always comes out with some really sharp-looking rides. And I don't know who their painter is, but definitely need to look that guy up when we find out who it is.
Clifton goes P2.
Not surprising. That car has been strong all season, especially in the qualifying. Wes Gant, the only other car out on track right now that has left to lay a time. And that's a sharp-looking ride, too. And As Gant goes 10th quick next time by. As he finishes his qualifying attempt. Does improve on time, does not improve position. But, Dave, what do you say we really kick this thing off right now?
Absolutely. Let's hear from the fine folks over at Ricmotech and Extreme Scoring.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious eSports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
And we are back at Richmond. Qualifying, get ready to wrap up right now. And what do you say we take a look at tonight's race info? Brought to you by Ricmotech and Extreme Scoring. 75-degree ambient air temperature, 47% water grain. These engines are going to be making gobs of horsepower with that type of ambient weather. 4-mile-an-hour wind out of the northwest, which means these guys are going to be catching a crosswind just as they clear the grandstand coming off of 2. That could be sketchy.
Without a doubt. I mean, here in the second race of the round of 12, it's an elimination race. Wow, I can talk real good tonight. But, here's the thing. Everything is going to be a factor tonight. I mean, the fact that we're just under 3/4 of a mile, the track temperature being 76. I mean, in a night race, we usually like to see these tracks grip up real good because that usually means that we're going to see some incredible battles tonight as guys able to slide around with next to no problem. And right now, Tony, GT Hawkins finally decides to come out and run his qualifying lap. The Columbus, Ohio native here in the number 14 Glory Pole Company Toyota Camry, checking the front tires here as he crosses the start-finish line and gets underway.
This is the second most bizarre start-finish line configuration I think we're going to see this season. It's kind of the reverse of what they did at Talladega.
Yeah, this start-finish line definitely sneaks up and surprises you. Oh, is Hawkins getting loose here? Not sure what he's doing.
Speaking of running and surprising you, that could have ended all sorts of poorly. As he's going to slide in 15th quick on his first lap. Second lap is a ton better through Sector 1. And Sector 2 is going to slot him in 6th quick. Not that he really needs to worry because he's already punched his ticket into the round of 8.
No, if I were him, I would probably try to drop to the back and survive this race without any incident.
Probably
to be fair,
the safe bet there.
To be fair, that's why I'm not a full-time driver and why I'm more of a broadcaster than anything, because that's my attitude anywhere.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm no longer behind the wheel on a regular basis. Because I'd rather bring the car home in one piece than walk up to the team owner, hand him the steering wheel, and just go, sorry.
Yeah, that's when you stand there and you say, yeah, Chief, I don't know what exactly happened to it, but it was fine when I left here. It was like that when I found it.
It was going great till it wasn't.
Absolutely. Listen, I've been there, done that. Let's take a look at the qualifying results tonight, Tony. Rich Reimuller sits on the pole position right now in the number 92 Spaceballs, the race car Chevrolet Camaro. Jeremy Clifton going to join him on the front row on the outside with Alan Hilton on the inside of row 2, joined alongside of John Sterling in the 3 machine. Bryce Senesac and GT Hawkins going to make up row number 3. Dennis Weeks and Mark Hurricane Hanna make up row number 4 with David Clayman and Mike Rominger rounding out the top 10, Tony.
And Dave, what do you notice in that top 7? You notice a common theme there? I'll give you a hint. Look at the team names.
Oh. There's a lot of GT Motorsports all over the place.
5 of the top 7 GT Motorsports. But anyways, Michael Thwaites and Brandon Shirley are going to roll it off in row number 6. Row 7 is going to go to Wes Gant and Alex Carr, with Greg Carr and Jason Johnson starting shotgun on the field in row number 8. So 16 cars scheduled to roll it here, 200 laps of scheduled distance, 5 sets of tires to get it through tonight, Dave. And I think these guys are going to use every set they've got available before the night is out.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a betting man, and I usually am, I would definitely bet on using all 5 of those sets that they've laid. Rich Reimuller here in the 92 car, taking a look at that, and he's got a new picture there in the corner of his driver information banner. I'm loving it. I know you are. We talked about that pre-race, Tony. Jeremy Clifton on the outside, the 34-year-old from Statesville, North Carolina. These drivers, as they get rolling, take a look at you weren't with me last week. That's right. You weren't feeling well. Take a look at John Sterling's paint scheme and tell me if you're going to be okay.
I smell toast.
Yeah, that's also the sign of a stroke, my friend. That's
we had that discussion last night when somebody made a Bigfoot Chevy Silverado.
Yeah, it's very disconcerting.
Yeah.
Last week, if you would have been with me last week, you would have heard me stumble over that about half a dozen times.
Oh, of course, as you would expect. But getting back to Reimuller's new picture, and I said, "Foster nose, not up it."
I'm not even going to go there.
Exactly. But as the field works its way into the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your guitar because it's time to get it on in Richmond. Race fans, it's showtime!
And a clean start we
Reimuller.
have tonight as Reimuller leads the field down into turns 1 and 2 and rolls onto the backstretch with no problem whatsoever so far. We look here as they're side by side, the 8 and the 1 of Jeremy Clifton and Alan Hilton, just about 3 wide if Alan Hilton doesn't get up here on his high horse to stay ahead of John Sterling and Bryce Senesac.
And I'm just going back and taking a look at what happened to the 11 of Wes Gant. Oh. Cold tires is what happened to Wes Gant. Spun it out, put it in the grass, but we stay green. So that's half the battle, right?
As long as he keeps facing forward. I was glad that you decided to go with Grandma Grab the Guitar because it's probably better than Grandma grab that other thing that they make here in Richmond. Or a pack of the other things they make here in Richmond. I've just handed you a grenade. Now what do you do with it?
I didn't know that those were made here in Richmond.
Yes.
To
Philip
talk with my
Morris
girlfriend to see if... Oh, that!
Yes,
oh,
Philip
Jesus.
Morris. They're right down the street.
That's not what I thought you were going.
No, not those. No. No, the other things from Philip
Oh,
Morris.
I didn't want to know how you knew they made those other things here.
No, the other things are actually made in New York. But anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tonawanda.
Yes. Oh, my God.
It's a good plant.
Side by side,
No,
14
because it's the home of Gibson.
It is the home of Gibson. It is. I was really thinking, I guess maybe I have a problem, or I used to have a problem, I should say, as I've converted to the electronic version. But side by side go GT Hawkins.
The ones I slowly kill myself with are made in on the Cayuga Reservation here in upstate New York.
Well, side by side, while we're discussing our vices in this world, go GT Hawkins and Bryce Senesac, the 14 and the 09, as GT Hawkins works his way past Bryce Senesac now and sets sail for Jeremy Clifton. GT Hawkins already up 3 positions tonight in that number 14 Glory Pole Company Toyota Camry. He's chased down by Bryce Senesac, who had a dominating regular season as we're now getting deeper and deeper into the playoffs. Tony, these drivers have all gone single file at least through the top 7 or 8. What do you think, that we're going to start seeing here as everybody has now gone single file?
I think we're going to see some carnage in the 1-2 area, mostly because it's flat and it's a decreasing radius corner. And that outside wall coming off of 2 comes up very quickly. And that's been the biggest complaint about the next gen cars, is getting them to initiate the rotation is not the easiest thing to do. You really have to drive it with the rear brakes. And here at Richmond, especially with the cool conditions that we've got right now, you got to tiptoe on cold tires as GT Hawkins throws it to the inside of his teammate going through 3 and 4.
GT Hawkins makes it look just that easy as they roll through turn 3 and 4. We're here on lap 11 of 200 here at Richmond Raceway in beautiful Richmond, Virginia, just a stone's throw away from I-95. This racetrack itself, historic in the first place. When I think, the heart of NASCAR country, as soon as you start getting into the southeastern United States, this is one of the first tracks that pops into mind before you head on down into South Carolina.
Well, I mean, there used to be more in the southeast, but oh no, we've got to do this, and this. No, you don't. Don't screw with tradition. Just ask the folks that boycotted this the Labor Day race for 5 years. As 9th and 10th starting to really heat up. Michael Thwaites and Mark Hanna going after each other like 2 kids in the back seat on summer vacation. As Reimuller now right on the back bumper, Hawkins now right on the back bumper of Reimuller, throws it to the inside, coming through the front stretch, and just bombs it going into 1.
Yeah, if you're going to make the pass, this is the time to do it as they get ready to head on down the backstretch. These cars are all kinds of wound up, Tony, as it looks like Hawkins leading Reimuller in. It's like he's grabbing him by the necktie and just dragging him through here. Back to the start-finish line. Reimuller maybe trying to save some tires here, not really willing to battle it out with Hawkins early, as Hawkins did just manage to tiptoe through the tulips to get up here into the lead.
He did at that, and biggest mover in the positive direction, GT Hawkins. Got 2 guys tied for biggest mover in the other direction. One of them is Alan Hilton, currently running in 6th, who is down 3 spots from where he started. The other one was Wes Gant, who's down 3 from where he started, running dead last on the field right now, with about 6 3/4 seconds before he's going to see anybody in front of him.
Taking a look now at Jeremy Clifton in the number 1 Glory Pole Company Chevrolet Camaro. He's being chased down by Bryce Senesac. Senesac just had that gap down to less than 0.2 of a second. He's let a little bit of line out now on that fishing reel as they go down the backstretch. Just about everybody single file here. Nothing too crazy going on. Greg Carr closing in now on Brandon Shirley. And, you know, I'll tell you what, Brandon Shirley week in and week out has been a battler. He may not have some of the best finishes that we see all season, but I'll tell you what, this kid right here from Charlotte, North Carolina knows what he's doing here in the round of 12.
He does at that, and he's done exactly what he's needed to do so far this season to, you know, it just haven't fallen his way late in the goings.
Not at all, but I mean, you know, as I'm looking here, not a whole lot of tire fall off after nearly 20 laps as they come. Next time they come by the start-finish line, it will be 20 laps in. And I'm looking at time fall off right now. Just a half a second time fall off for GT Hawkins, as his best time was 22.18, and now his last lap time was 22.7. So just under half a second fall off. I'm betting we're going to start to see a little bit more scrub come about lap 35.
I dare say that'd be about right, as, let me just take a quick look here. 75% fuel fill, we're looking about 45, 50 laps out of a tank at Go Fast here tonight. These guys are going to be needing tires well before they need fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, here's the thing. In my opinion, and this is something that I've only started to do recently, especially here in a fixed setup race, if you have the fuel to make it through another tire run, just because of the way that these tires scrub, you know, here at Richmond, I would dare say that it might be an interesting move to not take fuel, make that car a little bit lighter and gain some positions here. It's something that I've been trying, you know, mostly at super speedways and short tracks. Something that they could definitely try here, as Bryce Senesac just drove on by Jeremy Clifton without even blinking, it seemed, as he was just kind of laying back there and all of a sudden decided, I've had enough and I want that position back now here in P3. GT Hawkins, your race leader tonight here in the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series.
Helps if I turn my mic on, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was wondering why we were suddenly just listening to the beautiful sounds of these machines. But, you know, Tony, this league is not just sponsored by Ricmotech, which, of course, has some incredible equipment for iRacing and sim racing in general, but also sponsored by the fine people over at extremescoring.info. And, you know, I know many of us that are associated with private leagues here on the iRacing.com servers. I mean, you know, we use a certain scoring website, we'll call it, because I don't want to poo-poo all over another competitor. But all I can say is take a trip over there to extremescoring.info. Really good user-friendly interface. It's more customizable than ever before, and just a really great group of people. If you have a concern, you can reach directly out to the developers.
And it's not mandated that you use Mozilla to upload your race results to their server.
No, it's uploadable from anywhere.
Using the competitor, you can only do it with Mozilla, and there are some computers that don't like Mozilla.
I've found that interesting. I've never heard of anything that's coded in just such a specific way that you can only use Mozilla. But this is one of the first times that I've heard, or not first times, but that's one of the first websites that I've heard about that.
Yep. And it's battle for 11th heating up as Brandon Shirley looks to the inside of Alex Carr. Shirley just sends it going into one. Carr gives him plenty of room, knows that it's way too early to really put up that much of a fight right now, as Alex is going to fall back into the clutches of Greg Carr. And looks like Alex may have gone a little too hard, a little too soon for his liking, as he's continuing to backslow.
Yeah, and, you know, we can take a look at the scoring tower here as I'm going to quick pull off the the ticker, as we can see, I want you to be able to lay this out in front of everybody. You can look at the gaps. Basically, nearly a full second is Jason Johnson here, as he is about to be lapped now by GT Hawkins. We're finally starting to see GT Hawkins really make some steam here, and now has put Jason Johnson down one full lap.
For that matter, you got to give props to Wes Gant, because he spun it at the green, kept the thing going, and has already clawed his way back up. He was a 6-second deficit. Now he's 7.5 seconds in front of Jason Johnson. Johnson not having a good time of it tonight, as GT Hawkins continues to just set a blistering pace here tonight. But yeah, I just saw the last lap times: 23.12, 23.16, 23.36 for Hawkins, Reimuller, and Senesac respectively.
And those last lap times are here on the scoring tower on the left side of the screen. Remember I said it was going to be about lap 35? Well, here it is, lap 32. GT Hawkins, his best lap was 22.18, and as we can see right here, as we change that graphic over, now best time is 23.08. So almost a full second now, as Hawkins leads this piece 33 laps in tonight here at Richmond Raceway. I'm Dave Regal, he's Tony Trapasso, and you are watching Sim Racing Media at the Ricmotech ExtremeScoring.info Cup Series here on YouTube.com. Of course, we're here in the iRacing.com Sim Racing server. Tony, these are just such great drivers out here tonight, and you know, something that I almost always forget is that this is a fixed setup lead. This is all about driver skill, and here's GT Hawkins now opening up a 1.42 second lead over Rich Reimuller.
And that's what you kind of see with fixed setup leagues sometimes. There's a certain setup that's just going to hit for one driver, and it might not hit for anybody else. But, you know, you and I get spoiled every Tuesday as we get to watch the fine racing that is the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series.
Battle for sixth, fifth.
Is battle for 5th and 6th starting to really get hot and heavy, as DJ Weeks and John Sterling starting to go after each other. And Mike Rominger right there as well.
And here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you can see this battle box. I mean, here's the deal. DJ Weeks in the 97 Chevrolet Camaro, he just had to battle his way all the way through John Sterling and Mike Rominger. Is there now side by side. Sterling gets a little tight here in that Haas SRT Dodge Ford Mustang. My brain just does not compute. It's the Dodge SRT Ford Mustang tonight, buddy.
Who?
John Sterling, who usually is in the GM Goodwrench Ford Mustang. Tonight, it's the Dodge SRT. I told you.
Okay, it might help if I update my trading paints. Sorry about that.
Oh, can I interest you in a refresh?
I'm doing so now.
Look at you. Yeah, take a look at John Sterling's paint scheme here tonight, folks. In case you thought I was kidding, I'm not.
The day after Dodge announced that they want nothing to do with NASCAR.
Wait, I missed that story. I've been in baseball mode all week.
Oh, yeah.
Go back here.
Dodge made the announcement Sunday, actually. They want absolutely nothing to do with NASCAR right now. They're going to be focusing on their drag racing arm.
But why?
Because, because they are trying to move the company away from internal combustion, and NASCAR's not ready for that yet.
To be fair, I don't think anybody's truly ready to be completely gone from internal combustion.
Well, California better get their poop in a group, or else they're going to be screwed here in the next couple of years.
Fair point. Looks like Alex Carr getting ready to be the first car to come down pit road here on lap 41 of 200. He's got a little crinkle dinkle here on the right front of the number 26 Ford Mustang here. Do you see that, Tony?
Well, that would explain why he's coming pit side.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was coming down for some type of strategic reason, but it looks like he's getting, I mean, since he's here, he's going to get 4 tires in the tank of Go Fast, but Let's see exactly what goes on here. Maybe he stays in for some damage repair. An interesting choice.
Nope.
Nope.
Down and away.
All right then, sir.
Make us both look stupid.
Doesn't take much for
Not-
either of us.
I was going to say, not that that's a difficult task.
Nah, I can look stupid when I'm trying to order the number 7 at McDonald's, large with a Coke.
As the teammates, Alan Hilton and Jeremy Clifton, going after each other right now. It's a car making it look just that easy on the fresh shoes. First one to flinch is that 26, as he's now working the inside of Hilton, and we've got a slugfest between Thwaites and Clifton.
Yeah, the battle for 8th right now, hot and heavy, as looks like Michael Thwaites just wanted to blow the doors off of Jeremy Clifton. He's going to bring along Mark Hurricane Hanna here in the 45, as now that Napa Toyota Camry all kinds of wound up behind the Space Force Chevrolet Camaro. It's very interesting tonight as we see, whoa, the 45 getting real close to the rear of the 12.
Almost given a knock from the chrome horn there, but we stay pointed in the right direction. As Thwaites, Hanna, Shirleyton, and Carr all right there.
It almost looked like the 12 was ready to give spots up and go backwards, as he's now allowing Mark Hanna to get by in the number 45 and now the 85 of Brandon Shirley.
Looks like he might be just saving his equipment, as it looks like, I believe that is David Clayman going pit side. Yes,
David Clayman. Actually, I haven't seen David's mom come in here yet to YouTube.com. Always look forward to seeing the people who are regular viewers on YouTube.com, because, we, over the course of a season, we really do develop quite a relationship with many of these people. And if you are watching us live on YouTube.com, make sure that you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, give us a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm find your friends and family who are out here on the racetrack a little more easy. And also, let us know in the live chat, who do you like? Who are you pulling for tonight? And especially with these playoff battles heating up, let us know what you think as far as the playoffs are concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. But the other thing you're going to do is hit subscribe and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on Sim Racing Media, as we've got the 2 races tonight, the Ricmotech Cup Series and the AARL Truckers Street America Cup Series on the other station going on right now. So if you want to open up another tab and see what's going on over there, as they're going to Bristol in their playoffs, round 3. Tomorrow we've got the MENRL Cup Series, as they go to, let me double check here, Kansas for the round of 12, race 1. And then Thursday we kick things off with the Svenska iRacing Ligan, hot and slippery by Superior at Michigan.
I think I'm finally off on a Wednesday. Oh,
yeah,
the 45 and the 3
here.
come together.
That's never a good sign.
Well, they managed to keep it going forward, but you can see, in fact, I want to go back here to John Sterling. Folks, take a look here at those rear tires of the 3 car. John Sterling has the rears all kinds of heated up, so to your point from earlier, Tony, you're definitely having to drive this car with the rears, as you can see those discs glowing like crazy.
Yeah, and that's the one good thing about not being able to run tape on the nose of these cars. You don't have to worry about overcooking the front brakes. However, it's very easy to overcook the rear brakes.
Absolutely. Now, as we were both about to lament about, it sounds like you and I finally get a night off on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Thunderclap is over. What was the other thing I was doing on a Wednesday?
Way she goes.
Oh, yeah. That's not here anymore. They've chosen to go a different direction. Thursday, I don't think I have SRE. I think you have the regular broadcast team for that.
Nope.
What?
No. SRE is going to be in town.
Am I in town for SRE?
Oh, that I don't know.
I don't think I am. Maybe I am. Who knows?
But we've got 3 races scheduled for this Thursday, kicking off at 1:55 Eastern Time with the Svenska iRacing Ligan as they go to Michigan, and then Fired Up eSports goes to Dover for the Adopt a Shelter Dog 125. That's a 7:15 start for that one. And then Sim Racer's Edge goes to Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. And then, Dave, I don't know if you caught last Friday's action with the Circuit Diecast Super Speedway Series. Indy cars at Talladega.
All right, so tell me about Indy cars at Talladega. Was it fast? I'm betting it was.
245 mile an hour by yourself going into turn number 3.
I'm good. I'm going to pass.
Well, that's what we saw on the last lap. They were 4 wide coming to the line.
Well, I guess with cars that size, you could go 4 wide without too much of a threat there. But at the same time, 245 mile an hour anywhere, much less Talladega.
And you can bump draft to get it up to almost 250.
No, I'm good, thank you. No thank. Even in a sim, you know what? I'm going to take the Delara out now and just see what happens. Now I'm intrigued. In the words of Poppy Lebitard, see, I'm very intrigued. Speaking of Poppy Lebitard, that's part of the Dan Lebitard Show with Stu Gotts down there in Miami, Florida. We'll be there next Friday as everybody getting ready.
We'll be in Miami. We won't be at the show.
No, but, I mean, I would like to get as close to the Clevelander as humanly possible without being arrested.
Yeah, no. But, Dave, the other thing you need to try after you try the IR18, the current Cup of IndyCar, you need to get the Lotus 49 and try that at Talladega.
Okay.
Probably not.
Folks, just an update here.
Did you get some bad vape juice?
No. I'm literally a glass of water that I have that I put ice and tap water. It's not even bottled water. Well, that's
you
definitely
do live
a first
in
world problem.
You do live in Conshohocken.
Yeah, I'm guessing that this is probably very, very hard water.
Water's so hard they put it in bulletproof vests.
They might. I mean, you kind of need that here in Philadelphia.
I wasn't going to go there, but
that's
apparently
fine.
you did.
Well, I mean, listen, things in Philadelphia can get kind of hairy. Let's start with that.
Oh, yeah.
And,
no, I'm quite aware of that. The first time I delivered to the Walmart on South Street, my feet no sooner hit the ground after climbing out of the truck, and I hear pop, 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 pop. And next thing I know, I'm under the truck. I don't know how I got there.
That's fine. Hide and wait till it's over. But, and this year the homicide rate in Philadelphia has gone completely sideways. And I got to be honest, they're looking at being like twice the rate of last year. It's pandemonium in the ring. Speaking of pandemonium, the 29 of Mike Rominger now working the low side of DJ Weeks as we have action on the track yet. And looks like Rominger's still going to stay on that low side of DJ. DJ comes through the tri-oval and gets a run off of turn 4 that winds up shuffling between he and Rominger. Oh, that's interesting.
What?
Never mind. That's the 15. That's David
And that's the 9.
And we are under caution. Let's see what happened here with the 9.
Alan Hilton, Jason Johnson, both involved in that one as well.
Looks like he just caught the apron and brought the rear end around. Nothing serious, but oof.
Yeah, take a look at that from TV1, and you can see just how much he's having to use those rear brakes. They were definitely the reddest part
We're going to go right here to the zoom. And here they come, glowing, glowing, glowing. Wow! That's incredible.
Yeah, those things were almost white hot.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I missed that show.
There we are. So here we are with 67 laps of 200 complete. In my mind, I was just thinking to myself, we haven't seen that thing that we don't like to talk about that now we have to talk about because we've got caution on the track. Everybody going to be coming down pit road with the exception of a couple of drivers. Looks like Alex Carr going to stay out, David Clayman staying out, of course, as well as Jeremy Clifton and Wes Gann.
Alan Hilton stays out.
Alan Hilton staying out, and an interesting decision. Maybe he wants to pit late and move to the rear.
Keep that thing
in pristine order?
Safe, yeah. Looks like Jason Johnson getting the free pass. Remind me to send you the link to my new favorite song.
And here we are with Alan Hilton coming down pit road. It sounds like it's finally happened, Tony. I was right. Looks like Alan Hilton coming in to pit late and move to the rear of the field. He's going to come along with Alex Carr in the 26 machine. Maybe Alex Carr finally going to try to get some of that damage repaired from his earlier incident, as it looks like he's going to get 2 tires on the right. The left side goes up. Doesn't look like he's got any damage around the diffuser, and now, yes, he's absolutely getting some damage repaired here. As Alan Hilton drops down, he's going to roll off a pit road. Jason Johnson coming in pit road now in the number 24 Glory Pole Company Toyota Camry. And that should cycle everybody around. GT Hawkins, your race leader, going to sit atop the pile with Rich Reimuller going to be restarting in P2. Dennis Weeks in third. Mike Rominger in fourth. Mark Hurricane Hanna in the Napa 45 Toyota Camry in fifth. Brandon Shirley, John Sterling.
Okay, so there were 2 different incidents that could have brought out this caution. There was the 9 getting sideways on his own, and then there was an incident between Hanna and Hilton.
Well, that's interesting. Now, I didn't see anything with Hanna and Hilton, so let's see here. Caution came out. My goodness, a lot has gone on here. Let's see. Take a look here at the 8 machine of Alan Hilton. Oh. Interesting. No contact yet, but now the 45 and the 8 come together. Off. Oh.
Yeah.
And the 1 involved, my goodness. I don't know how we... of course, I know how you and I missed it because we were already looking up there at the 9 when this caution came out.
Lights are out on the pace car as the field works its way into turn number 3. The pace car peels on off. Hawkins has the button, and Geico restart zone is in effect. Green flag comes back out, and we are back underway as Hawkins drops the hammer. Reimuller slots into second.
What do you say, since everybody's all grouped together, we turn it up right now and watch these cars roll around? Yeah, and you know what? Reimuller has been a fierce competitor ever since coming in, and he did come into the series a little late, even though that he's managed to pick up a few wins here now this season. Unfortunately, he's still not eligible for the playoffs, which, you know, it hasn't hampered his spirit here on the track, as he's already committed to coming back next season for the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series. You know, I got to say, a driver like that, if it were me, I would probably feel maybe a little bit disenfranchised, but if anything, it seems to have added the fuel to the fire for Rich Reimuller here in the number 92 machine. And of course, he's always got one of our favorite paint schemes on track. Stand-up philosopher? You mean that he stands in a public square and expresses his feelings to other people? Oh, a book. Oh, I can't say that one on TV. B. Arthur in the unemployment office is always my favorite. Taking a look right now at John Sterling as he's being stalked by Bryce Senesac. Senesac now coming within just about a quarter of a second. Everything from 5th, 6th, and 7th all separated equally between each of these drivers. About 0.3 of a second. I mean, Sterling basically hanging out one bad breath, one flinch, and he's going to lose 2 spots for the price of 1. Somewhat unrelated now, we've of course been out here now since lap 67 when GT Hawkins last came in under caution. I was talking earlier on about tire fall off and things like that. Here we are on lap 89. Take a look at this. Lap 85, he goes 22.517. After that caution, he had come out and laid down a purple time, went fastest time again at 22.16, and now GT Hawkins' last lap time is 22.802, and just as he gets ready to cross start finish line here on lap 90, he goes 22.867. So already down more than a half second since he's been in for pit service. Absolutely, and we take a look here at the time delta in the right-hand corner of the screen. Lap 91, he increased that gap all the way to 2.5 seconds. He's now up to 2.77 seconds over Rich Reimuller. I mean, this is starting to get a little out of hand, even as Reimuller about to let Dennis Weeks past him now, as Dennis Weeks has pulled into 0.2 of a second behind the 92. They're side by side. Uh-oh. Oh, that's the 24. His teammate almost, I believe. Yes? No? Yep. That's teammate, the 24 of Jason Johnson. Meanwhile, it kind of separates Rich Reimuller And Dennis Weeks here in the back seat of that station wagon as it allows Reimuller to build his gap over top of Weeks again. Weeks had reeled him in, and they were side by side in just a moment ago until they started hitting this lap traffic. Now of David Clayman is Clayman just ahead of Reimuller. Looks like Clayman's going to stay high and allow these lead lap cars on past him, as you do. You know, that's one of the things here, especially at a short track, where sometimes it seems a little bit more difficult than at a larger track, or especially at a road course, where you can pull off to the side, allow somebody by, or at least, you know, get off and on the high side. Here, there's just next to no room. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, of course, the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series was there at the Charlotte Roval. And here's the deal, Tony. There I was on Saturday afternoon practicing a little bit, trying to get myself ready to go racing on Sunday night. And I thought to myself, you know what? There are some really great drivers in that league. The last thing I need to do is screw up anybody's playoff chances. So I shot a message right over there to James Riles, and I said, hey, do you need anybody to fill in this race? Sure. And quickly got myself out of harm's way. It was right up until, you know, it wasn't. Yeah, now Michael Thwaites getting past Mark Hanna in the number 45 Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry. He and Alan Hilton just took next to no time to get around Hanna, so not sure if Hanna was just trying to save some tires and ceded the position away, or if he has some kind of an issue back there. Of course, we talk about seating positions and, you know, seceding, if you will, and we're sitting here in like a history honeypot, an American history honeypot. I mean, like 4, but it's fine. Every time they kept rebuilding because you need a place to dry your tobacco. You know, the thing is, Richmond is sitting in such a cool area, just a few miles away from, you know, Petersburg, Virginia. Of course, this entire area under siege in April of 1865. You know, this whole state was just such a key player, of course, during the American Civil War, and I mean, was also the Confederate capital. I always thought that it was interesting that the capital cities in the American Civil War were only separated by like an hour and 20 minutes by highway. Of course, back then it was like a day's march, but the distance that the two countries essentially were separated by was so small, and their ideologies so opposite. The TV show what? Am I? Go ahead. Try to lay something on me about MASH. Absolutely. There were 11 seasons from 1972 to 1983. True story. Absolutely true story. Absolutely. I can only imagine that it was probably because they had backwards thinking and ideology. I knew they'd eventually, well, true story. And here's the thing: when they came here to Richmond, I mean, Virginia, of course, one of the states, the state known as the state of presidents. We've had several United States presidents come out of the state of Virginia. Of course, James Monroe, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, so on and so forth. You think that these men who were such powerful historical figures would be of like mind, and they were so opposite. Virginia itself, I mean, the raceway in and of itself, we're always out here battling. There's always going to be a debate here on track. And sure enough, historically, Virginia itself known for debate and compromise. Here's the deal. Wait, was that sarcasm? Oh. Here's the deal. Virginia itself, although that I live in the Keystone State because they think that we are, sure, we'll take the name. Virginia was the linchpin in forming American democracy. A lot of the greatest minds in history came from this state. A lot of the greatest minds in history led this state through some of the scariest times in history. From 1860 to 1865, this place was a nightmare, along with South Carolina. Yet, at the same time, these guys thought that they were doing the right thing. From both sides, everybody thought that they were doing the right thing. And yet, somehow, compromise overcame disagreement. And we're going to have lots of disagreements on track tonight, even between G.T. Hawkins and Rich Reimuller, although that there's 5 seconds between them. We get a little bit further back here. Mike Rominger chasing down DJ Weeks in the number 97 Chevrolet. And at the end of the night, if they make contact, they're going to disagree about it. They're going to battle about it. And in true Virginian fashion, they will somehow find a compromise after fighting it out. I was really going down a rabbit hole. Virginia is... Funny story about history teachers and so on and so forth. I took problems of democracy in high school, senior year. Our baseball coach was also our POD and econ teacher. And I looked at him and I, after he went through this, side-by-side battle now as Mike Rominger gets around the 97 of DJ Weeks. DJ Weeks ceding the third spot away to Rominger as we're just about getting ready for maybe another set of pit stops here as we've got just about 50 laps on these tires. Anyway, so I walk into problems of democracy, and after the teacher went through the syllabus and asked the question, are there any questions? Little Johnny, or in this case, little Dave, raised his hand in the classroom and said, yeah, sure. I said, why do I have to be here? I said, I don't see any problems with democracy. I had to work my tail off to stay alive in that class the rest of the year. Oh, I opened my mouth and shoved my foot just about to my tonsils. Yes, sir. But the spirit... Brandon Shirley now working the high side just in front of the 45 of Mark Hanna. Now Hanna stepping to the low side, trying to get back around Shirley as he's going to bring along David Clayman, the lap car here in that number 15 Scum Chevrolet on the low side of him. Clayman not going to give up easily at this point. And it looks like that's going to allow Hanna to slide. Well, he's down laps. G.T. Hawkins, your race leader. Rich Reimuller running in P2. These drivers tonight here, it's fine. You're fine. Folks, just to be fair, there are things that sometimes I got to mute my microphone and talk into Tony's ear. And there are days where I think he considers maybe trading in his partner here on Tuesday nights for the Ricmotech ExtremeScoring.info Cup Series. As Rich Reimuller running in P2, Mike Rominger in the 29 machine running in third, Dennis Weeks in fourth. And just as I say that, DJ working the low side of the 26 machine that lapped car of Alex Carr. Bryce Senesac running in 5th, Alan Hilton in 6th, Mark Hanna, Brandon Shirley, Michael Thwaites, and Greg Carr rounding out the top 10. 11 cars left on the lead lap right now as the next victim in GT Hawkins' sights here is going to be John Sterling, as he's got several seconds right now to get to Sterling, but and right now still has to get around Wes Gant yet again. But GT Hawkins has driven himself up 5 positions from after qualifying in 6th and has now commanded this lead. Tony, I think it's about time that we step away and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. Folks, we interrupt that commercial break with a caution here as Alex Carr seems to have had himself an incident, just a little problem, as we're going to take a look and see exactly what might have happened to the young man. We see Alex Carr here in the number 26. He's shotgun on the field right now, and he's working just behind Mike Rominger. I'm afraid to know what happens. I want to shut my eyes. Oh my, he's side by side with Rominger. He washes up into Rominger, and oh! I'll say it does. What's that? Yes. Oh, that was an either or? I'm just saying it was everything. Yeah, a couple of times. Not very often. I gotta be honest, at that time in my life, I was more of a PlayStation kid, not a Nintendo kid. So, folks, we're going to try this again, step aside, and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. We appreciate you being with us. I'm Dave Regal. He's Tony Trapasso. This is the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious eSports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you. Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious eSports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
And most of this race has gone single file, as we can see here, as drivers in this league, you know, Tony, we talk about it all the time. The talent in the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series is second to none. You know, these drivers are smart. They go single file early and they start to pick one another off piece by piece. And, you know, even as close as Bryce Senesac is to Rich Reimuller, just separated by less than 0.2 of a second. You know, here's the thing. He's gonna lurk back here behind the 92 and eventually blast out through that low side and get around the 92. But he's patient about it. They aren't side by side duking it out like crazy. He's just waiting for Reimuller to either have a little bit more tire fall off or make that one flinch that allows him to get by as they're side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Well, you know, and that's something that a lot of drivers, myself included from time to time, you know, this entire league is very cerebral. You and I have now had a chance to call races both here in the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series and, of course, the Western States Racing League. Two leagues that talent-wise are very close to one another. I would love to see And I was thinking about it the other day, maybe, SRM, we can put together some kind of a combination all-star race from all of our different leagues that we run and that we broadcast. I would love to see Bryce Senesac, GT Hawkins, the 85 Gatorade machine, Western States. I just forgot his name. Bentley Glazer. I would love to see like the three of them and a couple of other drivers that you and I get to see on a regular basis out on track and just go at it hammer and tongs. Oh, Greg McConey would give them all a run for their money too. I'm a little biased though. He would at least be up there as a spoiler. Fair enough. Fair enough. But, I would love to see something like that happen here, with Sim Racing Media, that we get to have an all-star race of all of the leagues that we call. I mean, I would love to see Joseph Lester get involved in that. I mean, heck of a driver, very talented, maybe lacks a little discipline, but, there's a couple of drivers, RJ Root from Sunday Night NASCAR. To see all of them in a fixed setup and just watch them go at it would be incredible. And this is exactly why you should never let me alone with my thoughts here in the broadcast booth. Yeah, last week I really missed you. I'm not going to lie. We had a long week there at Auto Club Speedway, and I mean, we got through the race, but it's never the same when you're not here. I'm glad that you're feeling better. Well, that I believe. Yeah, that I definitely believe. Taking a look right now at GT Hawkins. Now, his fast time tonight, Tony, as I'm starting to get into the numbers game tonight. His fast time, well, this is kind of cool to some degree. His fast time was 22.16, right? The NASCAR Cup Series qualifying record is held by Kevin Harvick at 21.849. Now, he's still, if you think about those race results, that was Kevin Harvick in the 2019 Toyota Owners 400. That's not the next-gen car. I'm fairly certain that with the next-gen car and the changes that they've made to the aero package in this thing, GT Hawkins has to be running quick time and competitively with the real-life NASCAR drivers. And just for fun, I'm going to go check that too. So our pole sitter in the Toyota Owners 400 from earlier this year in real NASCAR, Ryan Blaney, qualified on the pole. His quick time on the pole in real life, I have to stress this a lot, was 22.578. GT Hawkins just blew the doors off of Ryan Blaney. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. I'm floored. I've got nothing else. I'm just going to hang the microphone up and watch these guys finish it out. Speaking of watching guys finish it out, let's take a look here at Bryce Senesac as he just got past Rich Reimuller. Going to run this back here on the replay, on the old Wayback Machine, if you will. And Bryce Senesac, we see rolling out of turn 4, just securing that position away from Reimuller, making it look just that easy, Tony.
He did make it look just that easy. He's already put over half a second on Reimuller as Reimuller continues to drift back into the clutches of Mike Rominger, DJ Weeks, Alan Hilton, and Mark Hanna all right there with each other.
Absolutely. GT Hawkins still your race leader. Bryce Senesac in P2. Reimuller now trying to hold off Rominger, as you had just mentioned. DJ Weeks creeping around here in your top 5. Alan Hilton running in 6th. Mark Hurricane Hanna in 7th. Brandon Shirley, John Sterling, and Michael Thwaites rounding out the top 10. We're at lap number 157, well past halfway. The last time these drivers came down pit road was on lap 124, so we've now got about 35 laps on these tires. Tony, I dare say that we're getting close to the money stop.
We are at that, and you folks are going to want to tune in next Friday, speaking of the money stop, as there's going to be a whole gaggle of your favorite personalities here from Sim Racing Media who are going to be meeting up in Miami, Florida, and we're going to be doing a special kind of get-together and broadcast that as part of the money stop.
I am so stoked. I really am. Hold on,
This will be my first time out of New York State since moving back here.
1 second here. I'm looking. This is incredible. Tony.
Do tell.
So I decided to look at the August race, which of course this is a little bit more in line with.
On purpose?
Yes, I'm looking at the August race here at Richmond Raceway.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson qualified on the pole for this at 23.042. He wouldn't be in the field.
2304 would have qualified him 15th. 17th.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't be in the active field that we have right now. These guys are amazing. I say it again and again, week in and week out. These guys really practice their racecraft. Of course, keep in mind that that's here on the D-shaped oval, that those records were set. The original record, of course, on the original oval, held by none other than Richard Petty at 18.813 seconds. That's fast.
Yeah, but that was the old fairgrounds layout.
That was the old fairgrounds, and he was driving a Plymouth Roadrunner. It was in 1968. Now, the Busch Series record is held by none other than Mr. Mark Martin in 1987 in a Ford Thunderbird. No T-Birds on the track tonight.
No T-Birds on the track tonight, but we do have a Dodge in the field for some odd reason.
Yeah, let's take a look at that Dodge. Woo, see, I can't even say it without trying not to be upset with myself.
Burnt toast and your left side goes numb, I'm assuming?
Oh, that explains a lot. Yes. As we take a look here at John Sterling, down 5 positions. He's not having a great run tonight. The 33-year-old out of Sterling, Virginia, could have treated this as a home track advantage, but instead he's really struggling back here, running right now in 9th position.
He is, but, we still have 12 cars left on the lead lap. The only one who's currently not moving around the track right now is Alex Carr, as he's been on pit road for the last almost 19 minutes. Yeah, Wu was right.
19 minutes at 22-second laps is, let's just say, an eternity as you're watching that negative number grow larger and larger.
Right now it's 56 laps.
I'm going to say there's not enough time to get that many cautions to get all the way back.
No.
Just a guess.
No. Even if they shorten the cautions by a lap, no. But the question still remains, Dave. When are we going to see the first one to flinch, bring it down pit road to try to get the undercut for the money stop?
Well, listen, I'm sniffing here. Jeremy Clifton and Jason Johnson, the lapped cars, they were each down on lap 123. Then 124 brought in just about everybody else except for Wes Gant. So I'm just saying now with 32 to go, as we're at lap 169 of 200, they've really done a great job ticking these laps off for us tonight here on iRacing.com. I'm Dave Riegel. He is Tony Trapasso. You're watching Sim Racing Media on YouTube.com. This is the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series, and they have done a great job ticking these laps off tonight under green.
You can get your hate mail coming now, folks. That's Dave Riegel, care of Sim Racing Media Towers, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, OU812.
Yeah, that could be the beginning of the broadcaster's curse. Let's see if I can... I need to burn some incense and clear that out.
The last time you and I were on the air, we did break the broadcaster's curse.
I was talking about that for 2 days after that. 94 laps at Talladega.
No.
Wasn't that?
No.
Where were we?
I was talking about Texas last Wednesday.
Oh, Texas last Wednesday. Before that, I had 94 laps at Talladega, or after that. I had 94 green flag laps at Talladega.
Well, we went caution-free yesterday at Iowa. Let me say that again. We went caution-free at Iowa.
In trucks?
Yep.
That's impressive. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
I'll tell you what else is impressive is that run by Mike Rominger right now. Currently your biggest mover, sitting in fourth, just kind of biding his time. Pulling a slight gap on the 97 of DJ Weeks. But Weeks, to his credit, does have some pressure right now from that glory pole Maestro's number 8 of Alan Hilton.
Taking a look here from Alan Hilton's gyro cam in the cockpit. Looks like Alan Hilton trying to get a run on him here as they come through the front stretch, but DJ Weeks just extends himself coming through turn 1 and gets a great run out of 2 to go down the backstretch. So Hilton obviously catching him as they come into 3 and 4, but DJ Weeks able to blow his doors off coming out of 2.
Yeah, Weeks definitely has the better 1-2 portion of the track figured out. Hilton has the 3-4 portion figured out a little bit better. And Mark Hanna is trying to figure out both ends of the track as he is closed in on Hilton right now as throw a blanket over 5th, 6th, 7th.
Absolutely. 176 laps complete, so we are at that 25 to go. Tony, Jason Johnson coming in. Tony, I got to be honest. I'm starting to get ready to hold my breath until somebody does come down here. I will hold my breath until someone comes down pit road on the lead lap. Doing it.
Okay. See, here's the thing that you folks that are parents already know. Let your kid hold their breath as long as they want. All it's going to do is force them to pass out. They take a nap, and you get some peace for a half hour.
Fair point.
So let your kid hold their breath all they want, folks. It's not dangerous.
I'm so glad that David and Harmony haven't figured that out yet. I have a 4 and a 3-year-old, and I am so glad that they haven't figured that out yet.
What, that holding their breath doesn't work?
Oh, yeah. Because my daughter, I love her. She's the sweetest little girl, but when it comes to drama, I got her being the I'm going to hold my breath girl.
So you're saying you're raising a psychopath?
Maybe. I mean, David has my attitude. We're all screwed.
You may want to start a TikTok, sir.
Oh, I've got the old TikTok. I'm just waiting for him to get better at telling me how he's feeling. Right now, I'm trying to get him to understand length of time. Everything to David right now is last week. Oh, when we went to the beach last week. Last week it was like 60 degrees and you were with your mother.
Okay. Well, I freely admit that if it wasn't for the alarms on my cell phone, I wouldn't know what day it was.
I learned how to tell time with Bobby's World when I was in grade school.
Baba?
Yes. Yes. Uncle Ted. Oh, my God. You would have been a perfect Uncle Ted.
What?
Uncle Ted from the show. From
You
Bobby's
saying I
World.
look like? Are you saying I'm the John Candy of
I'm saying you have a
sim
little bit
racing
of
media?
Yeah, I'm just saying you have a little bit of a John Candy quality to you. Although I don't see you playing with the Kenosha Kickers there. Poker King of the Midwest.
No, actually, I've got more of a John Belushi attitude.
7 years of college down the drain.
Exactly. Dennis Weeks, Alan Hilton, Mark Hanna still running stem to sterns, 5th, 6th, and 7th are your closest battle on track right now. Everybody else pretty well strung out. I'm not going to say methadone clinic, but it's darn close. And anytime I can cause Dave to break up, whether or not you folks hear it, I consider that mission accomplished.
Yeah, I need a moment to gather myself.
Well, while Dave's trying to gather himself, we're going to step away, pay a couple bills as Hannah's sideways off of 2.
Hannah manages to hold it together coming off of 2 as he's now fallen way behind Alan Hilton and Dennis Weeks.
He has at that, and while he tries to collect himself, what do you say we try to collect ourselves and collect a little bit of that commercial money?
Sounds like it's about darn time. In a minute, we'll be right back. Too soon?
Sure.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious eSports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
To go here at Richmond Raceway. GT Hawkins in the Ricmotech Extreme Scoring Cup Series leads the way 4.6 seconds over top of Bryce Senesac, who had a dominant regular season. We are in elimination mode tonight, Tony, as we're in the second race here of playoffs round 1 and the round of 12. There's a couple of drivers that are definitely going to be eliminated tonight. There's got to be 4, and that bubble getting thinner and thinner.
It is at that, and you know, basically everybody that had a shot at it coming into tonight has done what they could. GT Hawkins, though, wants to steal this win tonight to take both wins in round one off the table and kind of put the pressure on everybody behind him and put everybody on notice, too, that if you want the championship, you're going through that 14 to get it. And you can pry it out of his cold, dead hands. But right now, Alan Hilton is just on a tear as he is giving DJ Weeks all he can handle right now.
Absolutely. We look back here as we take a look at the battle box in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. You can see Alan Hilton 0.2 of a second behind DJ Weeks in the 97 Chevrolet Camaro. That Maestro's number 8 Camaro chasing him down like he owes him lunch money as he is looking for any kind of advantage. Tony, the other thing that's becoming a factor right now as we're looking at lap times and handling of these cars as they're all starting to wiggle. None of these lead lap cars have been in since lap 124.
Yeah, that's impressive, and I dare say we're not going to see, unless we get something happen or something to happen, we're not going to see these guys come back down pit road. But I just noticed something, Dave. Rich Reimüller had a connection issue, and he is now sitting multiple laps down before he get back into this piece. So
he is driving with force
to the
right
92.
now. Yeah,
You know,
especially after having such a great run. His shorts must have gotten tangled.
Yeah.
It's a line from the
Anyways.
movie. What? It's a line from the movie.
Anyways. There's kids present.
That's fair. That's fair.
GT Hawkins, Bryce Senesac, Mike Rominger, Mark Hanna, Dennis Weeks, Alan Hilton, Brandon Shirley, Wes Gant, John Sterling, and Michael Thwaite, your top 10. Greg Carr being scored as the last car on the lead lap in 11th currently, as we are 3 to go, Dave.
3 to go as GT Hawkins rolls out of turn 4 one more time as he crosses the start-finish line. Popsicle sticks go up in the air as he is now going to try to put down the 25 car a lap down and make it 10 left on the lead lap with 2 to go here. He dives down the back stretch. Meanwhile, Alan Hilton still trying to give Dennis Weeks a run for his money as he is now on the back bumper of the 97.
As GT Hawkins crosses the start-finish line, we are racing back to checkers. White flag in the air, one more lap to go. And if you're GT Hawkins, do you give Greg Carr a little bit of a reprieve here? And the answer is yes, he does. As they come out of turn number 4 for the final time, GT Hawkins wins both races in the round of 12.
He does win both races, but I'm still watching Alan Hilton and DJ Weeks as they come through turn 4. Hilton a little sideways. That leaves DJ Weeks just in time to finish in that top 5. Alan Hilton finishing in 6th.
John Sterling just picked off Brandon Shirley for 8th. So, you know, that was definitely some good battling going on there, you know, in little pockets throughout the closing laps of this one. But just 2 weeks in a row that we have seen strong performances out of GT Hawkins, and I dare say that is throwing down the gauntlet of, you boys want championship, you got to go through me to get it.
GT Hawkins decides to do a big old burnout here on the front stretch. I can't imagine he's got that much fuel left, and definitely not that much tire left, as you can see just how faint those skid marks are coming down there, as it seems like they just kind of spun with nothing.
Yeah, they kind of did, but, you know, GT definitely put on a performance here tonight, and I just had him. Oh, crap. Why is there a broadcast room way up there? I got him.
Tony, I do believe that you finally have gotten GT Hawkins, yes?
Yes, I did. GT Hawkins for the second week in a row, takes the victory here in the round of 12. Definitely putting the rest of the field on notice. Was that your game plan coming in tonight, or how'd that work out for you?
I mean, I think I don't know. The car just drove kind of the way that fits my driving style, I guess. I mean, I was able to drive it off the right rear from center on and keep it from getting too tight. Um, so I mean, it was a good setup to drive just because it felt like you could, if you drove it wrong, you could make it too tight in the long run and vice versa. So um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the car is weird. I'm still getting used to this car. It drives so differently than anything else. But
It absolutely
yeah,
does.
I had fun.
The one thing that we've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys were really using the rear brake bias to get this car to rotate. At least that's what it looked like from up here. Can you confirm or deny that allegation?
Yeah, I definitely lowered it from where it was. So yeah, and I think that contributed to being looser on the long run too. Was being hard on the brakes and trail braking for so long. It's sliding in until you get to center and just hope you get it to stick. I was really loose on the long runs.
And we could tell that you were having a little tail wag, but you weren't quite as bad as some of the other guys were, especially in the later runs. But GT, again, congratulations on sweeping the round of 12. Next week we go into the first race of the round of 8 at the road course at Daytona. What are your thoughts going into that piece?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I haven't figured this car out yet. We ran Watkins Glen earlier, and I was terrible. So I'm gonna practice up a bit and try to learn the track and learn how these things drive. They're weird.
Fair enough. But who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate your second victory in a row here in the playoffs?
I gotta thank all my teammates at GT Motorsports, Glory Pole Company, Ed and everybody at Extreme for putting this on. You guys for broadcasting, appreciate you, and all my friends, family out there watching. Thanks.
All right, GT Hawkins, congratulations, and we'll see you next week at Daytona.
See you guys. Have a good night.
And Dave, I believe you got the driver of the 09 with you now.
Bryce Senesac, Dave Regal up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yep.
Listen, Fort Wayne is proud of you tonight. Listen, young man, this was a great run for you. I mean, up 3 spots. I mean, you fought to get where you are right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a challenge. I don't know, it's a full effort to say, just, yeah, it was really challenging. It was hard to keep up with GT. Had a little bit of high hopes after being fastest in practice. Didn't really get all of what I wanted in qualifying, but I was still ahead of GT and tried to race him early when he caught up to me and couldn't really do a whole lot. He was just gone after he got by me, but yeah, also good race overall, coming back from a lazy spin like that, kind of screwing up my pit strategy, but I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, you guys managed to stretch this last run all the way from 124 to the end. I mean, how is that car feeling, here in the latter part of the race where I can only imagine that those tires were liquefied underneath that Chevrolet?
Yeah, it was like, well, it was really all over the place with like both the loose and tight feeling. It's like you come out of turn 2, you're trying not to spin the tires too much off the corner, but then you come out of turn 4, and then it feels like the right front's gonna hit the wall. I think I probably smacked the wall like once or twice coming out of 4, and I'm like, why am I getting tight? I thought this was supposed to be a loose setup off the corners. It was weird to get like a definite feeling out of the car, so tricky all in all to try and figure it all out.
Yeah, man. I mean, yet again, another great run for you here at Richmond. As we look forward to next week, of course, a little bit of a different change here as we're going to be going to the Daytona road course. How are you feeling going on to that road course, as obviously you're going to be transferring along here to the round of 8?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, my race tonight was a lot like the last road course race at Watkins Glen. I mean, I spun out on lap 1, gave myself a penalty, and came back to finish 4th. So, I mean, just don't spin out on lap 1 or at all and give myself some dumb penalty, and then I should be good.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank?
I mean, as always, man, you guys up in the booth for doing a broadcast. Ed and Ed Senior for doing the admin stuff and all they do for this league. You know, everyone down at prime time. Give an extra shout out to Ricmotech. Usually at the end of these things, I get all caught up in the moment type of stuff, and I've been forgetting to thank the league sponsor. So, I mean, big thank you to them and all they do for this league.
All right, man. Well, listen, we will see you next week at Daytona as you go ahead and bring home that runner-up position here on the podium tonight, my brother. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And, Tony, I believe the last I checked, you were down there looking for Mike Rominger in the pits.
No, actually, I was up in the admin tower double-checking some math. Mike Rominger coming home 3rd place tonight, but it all depended on where Brandon Shirley finished. 1 spot higher than you needed him to. That's got to sting just a little bit, Mike.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's, I thought it was a 3-race cut, but it's a 2-race, so I mean, I wouldn't have made it anyway if it was a 3-race cut. So because it's a next week's a road race, so it is what it is.
Well, Mike, you definitely put on a great show here tonight. We saw you and Alan Hilton going after each other from almost the word go, and a lot of clean racing out of you all season long. Still going to be here, though, to slug it out with the rest of them, to put the pressure on those guys that are still left in the playoffs, though, right?
Yeah, I may not race next week because I'll be in a way, but yeah, the rest of the races, yeah, I'll probably run.
All right. Well, Mike, again, congratulations on the podium, even if it is a bittersweet podium tonight here at Richmond. Who do you need to thank for this season so far?
I just want to thank all the sponsors of the league and all teammates down in prime time, and you guys for broadcasting every week. You put on a heck of a show, and Rick and all the admins.
All right. Again, Mike, condolences on not making the cut for the round of 8, but we'll see you in 2 weeks at the race number 2 of the round of 8.
10-4. Thank you, guys.
And that's going to do it for the interview portion, Dave. But one thing to keep in mind, I just received word. Your round of 8 is going to go to GT Hawkins, Bryce Senesac, Michael Thwaites, Jeremy Clifton, DJ Weeks, Alan Hilton, John Sterling, and Brandon Shirley by 1 point.
Yeah, Shirley just barely holding on there. I mean, great night for everybody considering. And that does eliminate Elliott, Carr, Cockrell, and Rominger from the round of 8 as we now move into that second and almost the most important round of any playoff, because really it's the meat in this playoff sandwich.
It is. And it's the road course of Daytona. I mean, anytime we can go to Daytona, it's something special. But the fact that they're going to be duking it out on the road course layout, the NASCAR road course layout, that's kind of a wild card in that round. And then we go to Charlotte the following week for the quad oval, and we're cutting heads then. So, these playoffs, this is no joke. I mean, this schedule is something fierce. The fact that we cut heads tonight here at Richmond, which is arguably one of the more difficult tracks we're going to go to all season. Then we open up the round of 8 at Daytona, then go to Charlotte, and then Miami, and then the championship race at Phoenix.
Yeah, it's a really interesting schedule, and to have that road course mixed in there does make that a wild card race, especially if one of these drivers, whether it's Senesac or Sterling, Alan Hilton or Michael Thwaites, that maybe they're a road course whisperer, as we see. Every now and then coming out of the woodwork, we do see those road course whisperers coming through. So, it turns things really interesting here, as you can see on your screen, that top 8 highlighted in green there on the left-hand side. But, Tony, another one.
That was coming in tonight.
Yeah, and here it is. And, Tony, we're going to take one final look here at our final results. GT Hawkins, Bryce Senesac, and Mike Rominger all standing on the podium tonight. GT Hawkins capturing that checkered flag after a dominant night here at Richmond Raceway. Mark Hanna finishes in 4th, and Dennis Weeks rounds out the top 5. Alan Hilton in that Maestro's Chevrolet finishes in 6th, with Wes Gant, John Sterling, Brandon Shirley, and Michael Thwaites rounding out the top 10, Tony.
Greg Carr, Jeremy Clifton, David Clayman, Jason Johnson, and Rich Reimuller, after having connection issues, going to come home in the top 15. Alex Carr finishing shotgun on the field after putting it on the trailer early.
Yeah, so a rough night for Alex Carr, but a great and dominant night for GT Hawkins, who could have taken the night off, but instead decided to come out and give everybody else out here on track a bunch of fits, as he left so many people in the dust tonight. Just 11 cars on the lead lap. Again, a strong night. So, Tony, it's been fun. It's been great. Why don't you take us home and get us out of here, brother?
Well, for Mr. Dave Regal on the 1s and 2s, for Ed Morris Jr. and Sr. over in Race Control, this is Tony Trapasser reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that this week as you walk down the road of life, and until we meet again, whatever you do, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.